There he is.
Oh, you know how to cut it right to the end.
Okay. This meeting is called to order in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. This meeting was included in a list of meeting dates sent to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and the Highland Park Planet on January 8th, 2020, and was posted on a bulletin board of Borough Hall, 221 South Fifth Avenue, on January 8th, 2020, and has remained continuously posted as required by law. Fire exits are to my left and to my right. If you come up to speak, please speak into the microphone, and assisted listening devices are available. Rish, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor Brill Mittler.
Here.
Councilman Fine.
Here.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin.
Here.
Councilman George.
Here.
Councilman Hale.
Here.
Councilwoman Kim Chohan.
Here.
Councilwoman Welkowitz. Borough Attorney Schmier.
Here.
Borough Administrator Hervé.
Here.
Okay, we're going to start with our council reports, and I will start on my left this time with Councilwoman Foster Dublin. Do you have a report?
A very short one. On Friday, February 13th, there was a coffee with the cop at Dunkin' Donut, and our members of our PD was there to have conversation with anyone who wishes to have conversations regarding safety and any other issue that they wish to discuss. That was this past February 13th. On March 27th, we'll be having our police community forum, and that will be at 7 p.m. at our community center. So please, anyone who's interested in asking our police department any questions and follow up from any of the previous meetings can get answers there. So look out for that one. March 27th, 7 p.m. our community center. And
Excuse me.
March 26th? Oops. Don't come on the 27th. March 26th. Sorry.
Thursday night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thursday, March 26th. Community center meeting. A little bit of good news, and I'm going to ask the chief to come up to explain. We have hired 2 new additional officers, and I'm going to ask chief to come up and to say a little bit about them. I guess you can use that microphone right there.
Sure.
Thank you very much. I'm very proud to say we just hired 2 new officers. I contacted them both today to let them know they got the jobs. We hired a gentleman named Roland Sams. He was a cop down in Avalon. He lives in Sayreville. And the other person is Theo Richards. He's an officer up in Bergen County. He lives up that way as well. We're very excited to have them start. We can't wait. We're growing the department. We expect great things from both of them. Thank you.
Thanks. And also that there's a promotional process that's being put in place, and that's ongoing?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll keep you updated as to the promotional process in the police department. The Teen Center continues to have its growth programs going on Thursday nights. And then on Monday nights, every Monday night, Panera Bread bringing fresh bread and fresh desserts and food for the Teen Center. And also there is tutoring held on Monday nights at the Teen Center. So anyone who's interested and finding out more can stop in at the Teen Center and learn more about what they're doing over there. They're doing some really interesting stuff with art projects and what have you. I will keep you posted on the newest thing that they have going. And I'm quite sure they're always willing to share what the new programs are, what their the new initiatives are as they continue to achieve more success. Also, the garden or the pavement at the Teen Center is just about completed, so come this spring. The pavers will totally be in place, and the planting for the community garden over there will start. So it's going to be looking really beautiful come spring. And if anyone knows of any budding artists that want to help us out with a nice mural for the Teen Center, They're looking for artists to help them create a mural that reflects the diversity of Highland Park, reflects who we are as Highland Park. So we're looking for people who want to come out and help with that project. Veterans. Just want to touch a little bit about the veterans. Last year, we talked about how the veterans over at Roosevelt Center, during the holiday season, particularly Christmas season, everyone wanted us to go over, and they had tons of visitors that come during the holidays and visit them. However, during the rest of the year, they don't receive all the visitors that they normally do. And so on Monday night is called Bingo Night at the Roosevelt Care Center. So anyone wishes to go out and volunteer for about an hour of their time to help with refreshments or to be bingo callers, to help with whatever needs that they may have, there's an opportunity to serve, so you can call the Roosevelt Center and find out more. And that's my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Fine, do you have a report?
Yes, I do, Madam Mayor. Thank you. Good evening. The Arts Commission met last Thursday, February 13th, and has a number of activities planned for this year. The Windows of Understanding may be viewed at the windows on 4th Gallery at Rite Aid. This year's themes are LGBTQ issues and mental health. The windows and the art in the windows will continue to be up for viewing through February 29th. The Historical Commission will be meeting this Thursday, February 20th at 7 p.m. in the downstairs conference room here at Borough Hall. Both the Arts Commission and the Historical Commission are seeking additional volunteers. If you're interested in volunteering to serve on one of these commissions, please go to the borough's website, complete a volunteer application, and submit it to the office of the borough clerk. I would like to share one note about health. According to the National Eye Institute, low vision affects millions of Americans, and it can make it hard to do things like reading, shopping, cooking, or writing. Low vision can't be fixed with eyeglasses, contact lenses, medications, or surgery. While it's most common in people aged 65 and older, it can affect anyone. And although it can't be reversed, it can be managed. As the month of February is Low Vision Awareness Month, I just want to remind everyone that regular eye exams are essential for all adults. I would like to conclude my report with one note of gratitude. Although I am not serving as the liaison to the library in 2020, having served as the liaison to the library for the last 5 years, I would like to remind Highland Park residents that our longtime cherished librarian, Fran Lee, is retiring, and that her last day will be March 1st. I know that throughout the years, my family, especially my children, have benefited greatly from having such a dedicated children's librarian, a sentiment that I'm sure is shared by many of my fellow Highland Park residents. With that in mind, I hope that residents who have benefited over the years from the care and devotion that Ms. Fran has put into her work at the Highland Park Public Library will try to stop by the library between today, February 18th, and March 1st to express gratitude to her for all she has done for our community. That's my report. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilwoman Kim Cho-han, do you have a report?
Yes, few updates. The Community Food Pantry, they're currently updating their Facebook page and also working on some new brochures. And also, just wanted to let everyone know that they have given over 130 people have received shopping carts, and they wanted to just thank Universal Access for partnering together, and there are clients that the food pantry has that they're still actually looking for carts, so they're looking to do it again. It was a really great joint effort, and it was really successful, so thank you, Universal Access. And Board of Health is working with the schools on mental health and to put stress programs, to increase stress programs around midterms and finals within the school system. And also we spoke briefly about the coronavirus, and that this is from Board of Health, to just take precautions just like you would for flu season. There's no need to get extra alerted with certain residents in town. Just take the precaution as you would during flu season. And Commission for Universal Access is also working on a new brochure, and I know Councilman Hill was working on them and with the borough on changing mostly everything that we have on the books from handicap to accessible. And one of the commissioners actually, the word handicap came from like cap in your hand, which was essentially bacon. So that's why she wanted to change the word, and I thought that was a great little line behind the word handicap. Housing Authority is for their next quarterly tenant meeting. They're looking to have a rep from Public Works come in and just do a hands-on about what they can recycle and what they can. A lot of our residents that's in our housing building do not have access to the Recycle Coach app, so they were looking to team them up with Public Works just so they can know what they can and can't recycle. Human Relations Commission will be meeting tomorrow, 7 p.m. at Borough Hall. This is their first meeting of the year since they did their MLK celebration last month. Equity Commission will be meeting February 26th, 7 p.m. here at Borough Hall. And HP Gives a Hoot will be looking for your support this Sunday, 1:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. at this year's Partners. I'm not trying to sway your vote. I just wanted to mention if you do have a favorite. And then early blessings to our community that's observing on Ash Wednesday. And that's my report.
Thank you very much. Councilman Hale, do you have a report?
I do not.
Okay. Council President, do you have a report?
I do, Mayor, just briefly. Some of you may know, if you live on the south side, they've been delivering the new toter trash cans to South First and South Second. As we indicated when we started the new automated machine on the routes in the summertime, we were going to monitor. The machine does have a larger capacity than our present truck. We found from that 6 months of monitoring that we can add more streets. So we're going to be adding South First and South Second. This allows the tonnage to be collected by that truck and reduces the weights on the rear loading trucks, which also has an impact on our fees. It frees up rooms for dumpsters to be emptied a little more frequently as well. So if you see the cans and you live on South First or South Second, that program is going on. I talked to the acting superintendent today, and will be more information to educate South First and South Second like we've done with the rest of the route. Another benchmark in the 2020 implementation of water and sewer management has been reached. The RFP submissions are in. Looks like we received a number of submissions from some leading water and sewer management companies, and the borough is going to begin the process this week of evaluation. It looks like we're a little bit ahead of schedule on that project. We'll be putting in some grants with the Board of Public Utilities, which is now accepting applications for the Clean Fleet Electric Vehicle Incentive Program. This is in order to facilitate transition to a cleaner transportation by municipalities. And there are grants available to purchase electric vehicles through the state purchasing contract at their price, which is very advantageous. And it will apply for grants through the Board of Public Utilities. We can get up to $1,500 for one level 2 charging station and $4,000 toward the purchase of an electric vehicle. And we can apply for up to 2. And we actually have one on our purchase plans for tonight. Road repairs continue to be done where the weather and the crews permit. After discussing ways to improve our road repairs and following up with our computer programming that we implemented last year, the borough administrator reached out to the borough administrator in East Brunswick, which has much more comprehensive road repair equipment than we do because of their size. In particular, we're looking at the road tarring equipment that tars and seals the cracks in the roads. We found that, our experts told us that we can get up to 5 years of extended useful life on our streets if we seal them so that the potholes don't begin. East Brunswick has that. The borough administrator took the initiative, and I reached out to the council president there today in order to try and get that rolling, because they say that the season is coming up very rapidly. It needs to be done in the spring as soon as the last freeze disappears. Public Works Committee will meet at 8:30 on Thursday morning. Sustainable Highland Park meets next Wednesday, the 26th at 8 o'clock downstairs. And that's my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Borough Administrator, do you have a report?
Not this evening, thank you.
Thank you. Borough Attorney, do you have a report?
No report, Madam Mayor.
Okay, so I just have a few things I want to update everyone on. As you know, we've gone through and gotten a grant from the BPU for a microgrid study in Phase 1 several months ago, actually last year sometime. And I just heard back from the BPU. They're about to open up their round 2 questions, so we're hoping that we'll be able to participate in that and get some additional grant funding so that we can continue pursuing a microgrid here in Highland Park. Speaking of the BPU, the borough administrator and I went down to Trenton last week, I think it was, and we testified before the BPU about the importance of having LED lights as part of an overall New Jersey project. LED lights, as you may or may not know, would be much better for lighting our streets. We are a walking community, and safety is very, very important. Additionally, the cost to the municipality for using LED lights versus the lights we currently use is lower. So we were down there talking about trying to ensure that the cost savings would be bestowed upon all the municipalities. Additionally, New Jersey currently ranks 30 out of 50 states in terms of its usage of LED lights, which is really abysmal, considering that we have a goal of green energy, 100% green energy by 2050. We really need to ramp this up. And I was really delighted to be able to represent the needs of many different mayors and communities here in Highland Park, here in New Jersey, but specifically in Highland Park, and I want to thank the borough administrator for joining me there. Speaking of lights and safety, we have seen an uptick in the number of pedestrian incidents with cars in Highland Park over the last year. I'm going to ask you all again to please be careful crossing the streets. Please do not text while you're crossing. Pay attention to where you are. Do not jut out between parked cars. I know that we are also, our police department is also looking at different programs that we can put together to ensure that we are all safer as we cross our streets. You know, we are on a state highway here, and we need to keep that in mind. Additionally, our police department has been paying a lot of attention to speeding traffic in town. So it's a two-pronged program. It's the pedestrians that need to be more conscious as they're crossing the streets, and it's also ensuring that cars are stopping at stop signs and maintaining the maximum speed limits. Finally, I want to just iterate something that Councilwoman Kim Chohan alluded to, and that is our Park Partners program. I'm really, really excited about this year's Park Partners program. This is our chance to let residents input on important things to them and put together proposals for grants that we can give to them to improve life in Highland Park. We have more applicants than we've had, and I'm hoping that we'll even have more voters. You all get to vote on the projects that receive the grants, so it's really important that you show up on Sunday. And that's all I've got. Thank you. We now go into our first public discussion session. I do want to mention again, this is at the session where we can talk only about things that are on the agendas. So please keep your questions limited to things on tonight's agenda. And if you could, please limit yourself to 3 minutes. We have a total of 21 minutes for this portion of the public comments. Mr. Gross, do you have a question on the agendas?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Herb Gross, and I live at Adelaide Gardens. Mayor, I have asked you and the councilor at these meetings more than once. I have received many calls from many tenants from the different apartment houses, and they ask me over the phone, when is the next meeting? And I tell them, well, if you come to the meeting, you'll pick up a brochure, and it'll say there. Now, just recently, I asked the councilor if he would make sure that whoever makes these brochures up would put in the dates. We have many senior citizens here in Highland Park, 95, 98 years old, maybe better. They have a right to know when the next meeting is. And the counselor told me, oh, I'll take care of it, but he didn't say what year. Will you please make sure, Mayor, Counselor, that from now on these brochures, it'll list the date of the next meeting. And as I said before, I have received many calls from tenants from the different apartment houses, and I keep telling them, well, come to the meeting, it's on the brochure. But it is not on this brochure.
Okay, let's not yell out, but thank you, Mrs. Bickard. Mr. Gross, I think when you say brochure, you're referring to the pages with the agenda on it? Are you talking about the agenda when you say these brochures?
Yes, that's what.
I'm talking about these brochures that you put on the table here.
Oh, the agendas. Okay, so on the agenda, at the bottom, it says next scheduled meeting, and it gives the date.
Well, I haven't looked at it real close.
Okay.
But again, I say, this is a right that every resident of Highland Park should have. And I shouldn't have to come up here and keep reminding the mayor and the councilor, whoever makes these brochures up, to please put the dates in so that all these senior citizens, the veterans, and every resident of Highland Park will know.
Of course, Mr. Gross. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you very
Before
much.
I sit down, Mayor,
Okay,
I'd
Mr.
like to
Gross.
say to the councilman who gave the report on the Roosevelt Care Center, that was a very nice report. We have quite a few functions coming up. I can't give you the dates because they haven't been given to me, but I would like to say, and I've said it before, anyone that goes maybe to the shopping center or on your way home, you could stop in at the Roosevelt Care Center. You don't need no appointment. We have men that fought for this country, lifelong residents of Highland Park, and I know what I'm talking about. You can stop in. You don't need no appointment. Stop in, say hello, walk around, and these veterans up there, the men and women, they would appreciate if you people came, if you had time, just stop in for 5 minutes. You don't have to stay an hour, 2 hours. Have a cup of coffee if you want. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gross. Anybody else have any comments? All right, seeing none, we're going to move on. May I have a motion to adopt or reject the resolution to approve emergency temporary appropriations?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin.
Yes.
Councilman George,
As we commented last week, this is just a part of the budget process since the budget hasn't been adopted. Yes.
Councilman Hale,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho-Han.
Yes.
Okay. Clerk, could you please report on advertising the general licensing ordinance amendment for consideration of passage on final reading by title?
An ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Highland Park, Chapter 247 licensing was duly advertised for consideration of passage on final reading by title, and affidavits of publication are on file. The ordinance was posted and made available for public inspection as required by law.
All right, may I have a motion to take up the ordinance on final reading by title?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep, yeah, we're going,
Okay,
jumping ahead.
thank you, Ed. Anyone have anything to say about this public hearing? Seeing none, roll call, please.
No, you need a motion to adopt.
Oh, may I have a motion
We're
to,
ahead of ourselves.
to adopt the resolution and advertise the ordinance on final reading by title?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Motion to adopt or reject? Roll call.
Okay. Councilman Fine,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin.
Yes.
Councilman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hale,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho-Han.
Yes.
All right, clerk, can you please report on advertising the record ordinance amendment for consideration of passage on final reading by title?
An ordinance to amend subsection 407-12 of the Code of the Borough of Highland Park, establishing a fee schedule for basic towing service and storage fees, was duly advertised for consideration of passage on final reading by title, and affidavits of publication are on file. The ordinance was posted and made available for public inspection as required by law.
May I have a motion to take up the ordinance on final reading by title?
Motion?
Second.
Public hearing? Seeing none? May I have a motion to adopt or reject the resolution and advertise the ordinance on final reading by title?
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin.
Yes.
Councilman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hale,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho-Han.
Yes.
Clerk, can you please report on advertising the land use ordinance amendment, Planning Board, Zoning Board of Adjustment terms for consideration of passage on final reading by title?
An ordinance amending the Code of the Borough of Highland Park concerning the appointment terms of members of the Highland Park Planning Board and the Highland Park Board of Adjustment was duly advertised for consideration of passage on final reading by title, and affidavits of publication are on file. The ordinance was posted and made available for public inspection as required by law.
May I have a motion to take up the ordinance on final reading by title?
So moved.
Second.
Any public hearing? Seeing none? May I have a motion to adopt or reject and advertise the ordinance on final reading by title?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine.
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin.
Yes.
Councilman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hale,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho-Han.
Yes.
Clerk, can you please report on advertising 433 Cleveland Avenue redevelopment plan for consideration of passage on final reading by title?
Ordinance of the Borough Council of Borough of Highland Park, County of Middlesex, authorizing the adoption of a redevelopment plan for 433 Cleveland Avenue pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law was duly advertised for consideration of passage on final reading by title, and affidavits of publication are on file. The ordinance was posted and made available for public inspection as required by law.
May I have a motion to take up the ordinance on final reading by title?
So moved.
Second.
Public hearing? Seeing none. Councilman Hale, do you have something you want to say?
I do. I'd like to entertain a motion to continue this resolution. This is a plan for 433 Cleveland Avenue, and the planning board has met, and they shared some of the concerns of the council at the redevelopment meeting. We just want to make sure that before we move forward, that there's an opportunity for the Public Safety Committee and the Public Safety Director to make sure that the emergency vehicles have enough access into the existing plans. So we think that that can take place relatively quick, but prior to adopting this, it seems to make some sense to have the emergency services folks take a look at it to make sure that there's plenty of room for getting fire trucks and the like in the back. So I'd like to offer a motion to continue this until March 3rd.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
May I have a roll call vote on the motion to continue the hearing to March 3rd?
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin?
I would like to, for the continuance to March 3rd, depending that we have an opportunity to have a public safety meeting. So the public safety and traffic study can be completed, and we will be able to have emergency vehicle in and out access in that area. So yes.
Yes, okay.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han?
Yes.
Okay. Clerk, can you please report on introduction of an ordinance to amend the zoning map for consideration of passage on first reading by title?
An ordinance to amend subsection 230-124 of the Code of the Borough of Highland Park to adopt an updated zoning map for the Borough of Highland Park has been introduced in writing by the Economic Development Planning Committee for consideration of passage on first reading by title.
Okay. May I have a motion to adopt or reject and advertise the ordinance on first reading by title?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han?
Yes.
All right, on the consent agenda, may I have a motion to adopt items number 14 through 31?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Brief comments. Resolution number 19-2083 is for our first electric vehicle, and 2087 is the Roots for Rivers Reforestation, which is going to fund trees for the Meadows Trail plantings along the river to environmental processes that we've been working on for a long time. Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han?
Yes.
Okay, I am appointing Thomas Hamill as the safety officer. May I have a motion to confirm?
Motion to confirm?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han?
Yes.
Okay, I'm now opening up the floor for a public comment. This is our final public comment for the evening. You are not limited to what is on the agenda. I'm asking that each person take 3 minutes so that we can get as many people in as possible. And this open public session is subject to a 9 p.m. closing. Please step up to the microphone and state your name and address.
Ruth Bickhardt, 307 Magnolia Street. The recycling pickup. I'm dealing all with issues that were brought up here during the meeting. It's not consistent. You don't I don't know which belongs into the recycling bin and which belongs into the trash. And sometimes they see something in it, and I have tenants who create more trash than recycling than I do because they don't cook. So I would like to have a clarification on that. Or,
So there's, I'm going to turn to our Public Information Officer, who I see in the audience here. Harry, I know we've done some work on this in the past. Perhaps it makes sense for us to get some more information out again about recycling, and what is to be recycled and what cannot. Did you want to say something, Harry?
For many months, we had a flyer by the tax office. So whenever anybody came in, they could take that flyer and we could explain very clearly what is recyclable and what is not. If we run out, I'll have to check. But that there is, for many, many months, available in Borough.
well, I wasn't aware of it.
So can we make those available? Okay, and Mrs. Bickard, if those are available and you need like a stack
I
for your
need one for
tenants?
the 7 houses on my side of the street. I'm the mother hen, and I pick up all the trash along the way, and I put the carts back on the sidewalk because they're all gone to work or to school. There's students who live there, and the truck comes by sometime around 7:30 in the morning.
Right, okay.
Okay. The mess on the sidewalks, that's really something that annoys me no ends. People put a piece of chewing gum, paper, everything gets thrown. When I walk out with my dog and I have one empty hand, we pick up the trash. And sometimes I really get a paper bag full of, never mind the bottles and the containers, but just people take no pride in their living environment. What does LED lights stand for?
What does LED?
Ooh, that's a good test that I'm gonna fail.
Light emitting
Oh,
diodes.
good job, darn.
Say that again?
Light emitting diodes. They're electronic and they're actually, they're not powered by electricity going through the little coil inside the light bulb. They're actually electronic. They're much more efficient than regular lighting, and they have now progressed to the point where they can actually be used for street lights and everything from flashlights to dashboard lights. All the new cars are all LED. The reason that we're pushing for them, and we've done the survey here in Borough Hall and the police department to upgrade, is because they use less than a tenth of what the old incandescent light bulbs use. So we're pushing very, very aggressively to convert to LED, and pushing especially on the street lights where they're brighter and they cost so much less to
Yeah, because
for the borough.
That was, I was going to bring up to the street lights. I mean, I have to walk in the evening. And if I hadn't lived here for so long and walked so long during the daytime, I would fall because the sidewalks aren't in the best condition, and I can't see in front of which house it is.
So, Mrs. Bickard, the next time I go down to Trenton to talk to the BPU about this, maybe you'll come with me.
When you go, call me and I'll go with you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Mrs.
and the
Bickard,
other thing is the issue with the traffic lights. For the Jewish population, they hold it normally, that it's, if you cross this way, then the red lights are that way. But during the rest of the week, you don't know, people don't know when they can cross or they can't cross. They don't change properly, and it's not timed. You can stand there sometimes for a couple of minutes for the light to change, and then it's for 30 seconds, and it switches back
you're
out
talking
again.
about Raritan Avenue, I assume? Yes? You're talking about Raritan Avenue? Yeah. We'll take that up with the DOT next time we meet with them. Please state your name and address.
Yes, Madam Mayor. My name is Josh Przansky, 141 North 10th Avenue here in Highland Park, New Jersey. First, I want to thank the mayor and the council members for attending our event last week at Congregational of Emmett on anti-Semitism. We appreciate your presence there. And I know the mayor had to leave early for a blessed occasion, so congratulations.
Thank you
Mazel tov to
very much. Just came back.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Number two, I wanted to thank the mayor and the council. I see the installation of the crosswalk light in front of on Raritan and Washington, I believe. I didn't realize it was going to be such a huge crosswalk light. I thought it was going to be a simple little thing, but they've been working there already for 2 weeks, digging up on both sides of the road, and I see the boxes and all the electrical work happening. So I want to thank you for that, and hopefully this will lead to the next improvement in that area with the road diet, hopefully in due
Right.
time.
Right.
So thank you for that. Number three, I was driving, I should say, this afternoon down South Park, and at the corner of South Park and 9th Avenue, I noticed this individual standing on the corner. You can't see from here, he's a raccoon. So I immediately posted it on Facebook. I took this picture and I posted it on Facebook and asked people, is it normal to see a raccoon during the daytime? I got conflicting reports. Some say they only hunt, some say they're nocturnal. And then he was watching me take the picture, and then he basically was, I would say, guilty of breaking and entering. Because I watched him go into the abandoned house on the corner. I'm living here 20 and a half years. On the corner of 9th and South Park, there's a house that hasn't been occupied since I've been here. So probably longer than 20 and a half years. And I noticed that the window in its basement had the metal grate pulled off, and he jumped into the basement
wow.
there. So I don't know who to report to, so I didn't want to call 911 chief. I know if it was a 911 call, but now that you're here, just let you know, there are some people squatting in the bottom of that house, and I just wanted to bring it to everyone's
So
attention.
we've been talking about that house for a while now. The place to report is to Scott Brescher, who is our code enforcement officer. And if animals are getting in, it may become a health situation as well. So in the future, or we'll make a note of it now. But in the future, anytime you see something like this, code enforcement is a good place to go.
Do you have the specific address? Or is
we
it
know
just
the
a corner?
Specific address? The corner house.
I'd like to know the raccoon's address.
Cross Krieger.
I'm sure it's on
Yeah.
radar.
Right behind, you know which house I'm talking about.
Scott can give it
Also,
to you. We've
they'll
been
take-
working on this.
They'll take care of animal control also as far as rabbit.
Yeah, we have a shared with the Township of Edison,
Okay.
and I believe on our website, there's actually a number you can call
So
for
I should
animal
call
control.
about this animal and.
But if it's in the building, they're not.
Right, but when it's outside, I would assume during the daytime it might be a rabbit and a raccoon. Yeah?
No.
Yes? Could be rabbit. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Chief?
It's not uncommon to see raccoons outdoor in the day if it's acting normally. If it's walking in circles, stumbling, acting like it's intoxicated, then it's sick. But just moving around during the day is fine for raccoon, groundhog, squirrels, all those kind of animals. They are nocturnal hunters, but it is okay for them to be out during the day.
I'll let him go.
Hi, Michael Gordon, 207 South Fifth Avenue. I was also going to thank the council and the mayor for coming last Monday night. I hope you found it educational, informative. I know a lot of feedback I got from people was they thanked us for bringing the architect and the author of the definition of anti-Semitism to our town. It was a big deal to get him. I thank Josh Brzezinski for arranging that. He was flying the next day off to someplace in Europe, so it was a big occasion. I thank you. Also, I look forward to continuing the conversation we had, Councilwoman, on working with different communities in town. One other thing. Oh, since I talked to the mayor and the administrator before about the assisted living device, I work with hearing aids for a living. I help people hear better, and it's always frustrating when I come to meetings and it has a sign up and the people are not being helped. I've offered my services. I can come anytime, sit with the machine, and figure out how we can help people who have hearing loss hear better at the meetings.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay.
Is that something that we can reach out to Michael and schedule
Yeah,
a time?
and I can't, we might have traded contact, but I don't know that I have it, so if you don't mind giving it to me.
I'll give it to you again. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, any other public comment?
One more.
Okay, please step up to the microphone. State your name and address, please.
Warren Ratliff, 219 South 6th Avenue. You hear me? I brought this up before about people not stopping at these stop signs over at these corners here. Last Friday, as I was walking home from work, I almost got hit because a driver, he's not paying attention. And I want to know, why aren't these police officers out here are not issuing tickets?
Okay. Chief, would you like to address that, please?
Unless they are at Dunkin' Donuts.
We were at Dunkin' Donuts for the Coffee with a Cop thing the other day. It was nice to see the community. Our officers are out there. We are stopping cars. We are writing tickets for infractions that we notice. We're moving around town in a systematic way when we get complaints. We have a system we use where we set up a camera that records things, and then we put an officer in place to observe and enforce what they see needs to be enforced. Unfortunately, we can't be everywhere at the same time.
Okay.
So while you might witness an infraction on the south side of town, you can rest assured there's an officer on the north side of town enforcing the laws. So thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Michael Gordon, 207 South Fifth Avenue. I forgot that I wanted to thank the police department, Highland Park Police Department, who has an officer in our synagogue every Saturday, but also last Monday night, there was one hired as off-duty, but they also sent a couple additional people outside, inside, and that really made everyone feel secure. It's unfortunate we have to have it, but your men are always professional. Women, they have not come in yet, but they're always professional and courteous, and I thank you again for that. Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? Seeing none, we're going to take a 5-minute recess, and the council will go back down there for our work session.